We have all been there. We decided to build a new habit. Maybe it's exercising, reading more, or eating healthier. We get excited, make plans, download productivity, health apps, and everything feels great at first. But then, after a few weeks, the motivation fades. All routines come back, and the new habit, it slips away. And here's the truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. This video is not about hype, it's about how to actually build habits that stick, using one of the most practical and powerful framework I have come across, the Atomic Habits by James Clear. I am not going to summarize the book today, but would love to touch on the key ideas and break them down into real life, relatable steps with practical examples and small actions you can start using right away. If you ever wanted to read more, work out regularly, stop scrolling, or just feel more in control of your time and energy, this video is for you. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Aromal and I explore and share ideas that fuel creativity, productivity, and personal growth. So, starting with the first step, make it obvious. The first step to building any habit is to make it obvious. Most of us fail because our good habits are hidden and bad habits are right in our face. Let me give you an example. You decide to build a habit of drinking more water, which is great, but your water bottle is tucked in your bag under your desk or maybe in another room. Out of sight, out of mind. So even though you want to do it, you end up forgetting or skipping it. That's where the first rule really matters. Make habits obvious. If you plan to do something, make it visible to your eyes. So instead of keeping the bottle hidden away, place a full bottle of water right next to your laptop while you work, or on your dining table, or even by your bed. That way, you don't have to remind yourself. You just sip it naturally without even thinking. Same goes for any habit. You decided to read more books, so you go ahead and buy a bunch of them thinking you will read every night. But what happens? You leave the book somewhere you rarely see, on a shelf, in a bag, or maybe it's still sitting unopened in the Amazon box. Out of sight, out of mind. If you want to build a habit, your environment needs to remind you, not your willpower. So instead of hiding those books away, keep one book right on your pillow. That way, when you head to bed, it's the first thing you notice and probably the last thing you'll do before sleeping. It's not just about having the habits in mind, it's about putting the habits inside. So small tweaks like this help your habit become part of your routine, not just another forgotten goal. You can even use something called habit stacking. It's a simple trick where you link a new habit to something you already do every day. It's powerful because your brain already recognizes the first action, so it becomes a natural cue for the next. For example, after brushing your teeth, meditate for 2 minutes. Or after pouring your morning coffee, write down one goal for the day. You're not adding a new habit out of nowhere, you're stacking it on top of something that's already part of your routine. This way, your environment and your existing habits do the work for you. You don't have to rely on motivation. It's the system that does the heavy lifting. Because habits stick with simple, repeated cues that remind you to take action. And that takes me to the next step. Make it attractive. If a habit feels boring, repetitive, let's be honest, you will ditch it. You might start with excitement, but if it doesn't feel good, that motivation fades quickly. That's why the second rule is make habits attractive. We often think building habits is all about discipline or willpower, but in reality, our brains are wired to seek rewards. We're constantly chasing for dopamine, that little hit of pleasure that make us feel good. So instead of trying to force your way through a habit, why not work with your brain? Make the habit something your brain actually wants. And one of the smartest way to do that is something called temptation bundling, where you pair a habit you want to build with something you already enjoy. For example, folding laundry is not probably the most exciting things on your list, but you love watching a Netflix show. So make a simple rule, only watch your favorite show while folding laundry. So, by pairing something you enjoy with something you don't, the task feels more rewarding and you are likely to stick with it. Or let's say you want to go for a walk every day, but you are skipping it. So, in that case, save your favorite podcast or audiobook just for your walk. By linking something you love with the habit you want to build, your brain start associating walking with something enjoyable. Soon it becomes much easier to get up and go. The trick here isn't just willpower, you're not forcing yourself, you're tricking your brain into wanting it. Now let's move to the third step, make it easy. Let's be honest, most of us fail to build habit not because we are lazy, but because we make them way too complicated from the start. We get excited, we set big goals. I'll work out every single day for an hour, or I'll meditate for 30 minutes every morning, or I'll read one book a week. And then what happens? Life gets busy. We miss a day, then two, and soon we feel like we have failed. That's why this third rule is so powerful. Make habits easy. Because if a habit feels hard, you will keep putting it off. So here's the trick, shrink the habit down. Make it so small, so easy, you can do it even on your worst day, even when you're tired or even when you are unmotivated. For example, you want to eat healthier. Forget about making those big diet changes all at once. Start by adding one serving of vegetables to one meal each day. Little by little, those small changes add up. Or say you want to practice mindfulness. Forget about meditating for 30 minutes. Start with just 2 minutes of deep breathing every morning. So over time, it will feel more natural and will become part of your routine. Because here's the thing, consistency beat intensity. Small actions done daily shape your identity. Once the habit becomes part of your life, you can always scale it up. So it's not about doing more, it's about showing up again tomorrow. So don't aim to be extreme, aim to be consistent. And that takes me to my fourth point, make it satisfying. Let's be real. We don't just repeat habits because they are good for us, we repeat them because they feel good. That's why this final step is so powerful. Make it satisfying. Your brain needs a reward. And if habit ends on high note, your brain says, hey, that felt nice, let's do it again. And the good news, the rewards doesn't have to be big. It just has to feel rewarding in the moment. One simple method is using a habit tracker. There is something surprisingly satisfying about checking off a box or making an X on your calendar. It gives your brain a little dopamine hit like you just scored a win. Even if it's small, that visual proof of progress makes you want to keep going. You can also reward yourself in small personal ways. Let's say you stick to your workout plans for a full week. Then treat yourself with your favorite coffee or a lazy Sunday movie. Not as a bribe, but in a way to say, nice job, keep it up. And here's the most powerful one. Super simple, but it works. Say out loud that I am proud I did that. So through these simple steps, you are reinforcing a new identity. Someone who shows up, who stick with it. That small bit of positive self-talk trains your brain to associate the habit with a feel-good moment. The more satisfying your habit feels, the faster it becomes part of who you are. So don't skip the reward, no matter how small. That's what makes the habit loop complete. Now coming to the bonus point, focus on identity, not outcome. Now, before we wrap up, I want to share something that might be the most powerful takeaway from Atomic Habits. Most people focus on outcomes. They say things like, I want to lose 10 kilos, or I want to read 20 books this year. I want to wake up earlier. And those goals sound inspiring at first, but they fade quickly. Why? Because goals are result driven. They are focused on the finish line, not on the foundation. But real changes happen when you shift your focus from outcome to identity. So instead of saying, I want to read more, start saying, I'm kind of a person who reads every day, even if just one page. That subtle shift makes all the difference. Because now you're not chasing a number, you are reinforcing the type of person you believe you are. You're no longer someone trying to work out, you are kind of person who doesn't miss a workout. Or you are not someone trying to wake up early, you are kind of person who owns their morning. And here's the magic: every small action you take is casting a vote for that identity. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to keep voting. And over time, those small, consistent votes build a powerful self image. And when your habits are tied to who you believe you are, they become effortless. Because as I mentioned earlier, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fail to the level of your systems. And the strongest systems are the ones built around your identity. So if there is one shift you make after watching this, let it be this: don't just try to do more. Start becoming the kind of person who does things by choice, by identity, and by habit. Honestly, it's a bit of shame that I only started reading and practicing atomic habits later in my life. This book is an absolute game changer, not just to read once and forget it, but to really live by. If you haven't already, I'd highly recommend grabbing a copy. But more importantly, don't just read it, practice it, apply it, use it to shape the best version of yourself, one tiny habit at a time. And just to quickly recap what we discussed so far, so make your habits obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. These four laws, when applied consistently, can transform the way you build habits and how you see yourself. So now I want to hear from you. What is that one small habit you're starting this week? Drop it in the comments and I read everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. This is Aromal Satheesh signing off.